So you can't buy a Fujifilm X100V, but you can now buy a Nikon ZF. Let's talk about it a little bit more here after this brief cinematic intro. Wow, incredible.
That was amazing. My heart's racing.
I'm joined by Timothy Musa.
Hello.
Fujifilm X100V enthusiast.
I'm very enthusiastic about this camera.
He loves this camera.
But I'm also very enthusiastic about this camera.
You can't buy this camera. You can, but you have to buy it for a very, very expensive, inflated price tag. And this one is now available on the market properly. How do we compare them?
I think the mere fact that all of the main function dials are on the outside of the cameras is a very notable comparison point. You have shutter, ISO, aperture dial, makes them kind of in the same range and kind of the same market.
So if you're looking for kind of that everyday walk around camera, one of the main differences is this is a full frame camera, which means it's going to do some things better, like low light performance is going to be significantly better. The autofocus that Nikon has been developing since the Nikon Z9 came out is just phenomenal. You get a front facing screen on this too. So I feel like in terms of versatility, this gives me pretty much everything I need to do either my wedding photography life or my YouTube content creator life, which is not something that a Nikon camera has actually done for me ever. I've always needed that front screen for YouTube content, run and gun style stuff around New York. I want to always be able to, I don't want a monitor attached to my camera that's just clunky and not nice. Now, it finally all happens in one spot. The ergonomics are very, very nice. I will say, you haven't held this yet, have you?
Can I hold it?
Yeah, let's get live reactions.
Oh, it's heavier. It's a lot heavier than I thought.
Magnesium body.
Magnesium body.
Brass dials.
Yes. I feel like this is a natural evolution for something like this. Even though they're different brands, this is like what this wants to be. No, this wants to be this.
Oh, big
in many
words,
ways.
big words.
This wants to be this because you're able to change lenses. You have the entire discography. Is that a word we can use for lenses?
Got all your
of
Zs,
lenses from
all your
the Nikon ecosystem.
300 plus.
You have 300 plus lenses from the Nikon ecosystem,
including
50 plus years.
This 16mm fisheye.
Does it have a flash?
No flash.
That's not a flash.
No, you got to use your phone.
Do you need a flash?
I don't think you need
Probably
a flash.
not, no.
The low light performance is so good,
That's
you don't
right.
need a flash.
You can shoot up to, what's the ISO on this, Jeff?
Oh,
64,000.
like
64,000?
infinite ISO. It's a lot.
Native, okay. So ISO performance on this camera far outreaches what this could ever do.
You'll notice that the X100V is a little bit smaller. It is a crop sensor camera, which means that if you have, what is this, a 23mm lens, which multiplies to a 35mm effective lens, the DF, every lens you're gonna put on, you're gonna put a 40mm lens on, it is just a 40mm lens. It is a little bit bigger, which you might like. If you have larger hands, especially if it's something that you want to use professionally, I feel like it's nicer to have a little bit more of a substantial body. This one has the small rig grip on the bottom that Nikon has actually developed with small rig, and ergonomically, it makes it a very nice time. As you can see, Tim's added a lot of modifications to this X100V to make it good.
Feel good in my hands. Yeah. Where I feel like this out of the box would just be a lot closer to what I'd want a camera to be. Can we talk about the functionality of these cameras? Where would you use these? I mean, I use this one as a backup camera for most weddings, and it works well in a pinch. I did some tests on it last wedding I shot. I used the flash. It was good as a fill camera for flash, and like just having like a kind of a candid during reception, during cocktail hour. That was great for that. It's good for travel because it fits in a bag, no problem. Fits in a pocket with just the stock 35mm lens. Where does this one fit into the market? Where does this live?
So I like this a lot better for my professional work because there's 2 card slots in that. There's a regular SD as well as a micro SD, whereas there's only one in here. I've never had any, like knock on wood, never had any card issues, but I feel a lot better in my head, anxiety-wise, having 2 card slots, having that redundancy in my camera.
Where does this live? Do you think this is a good travel camera?
I think this is, I'm gonna say, the most well-rounded camera. The price point is incredible on it. It does most of what you could ever need for a professional camera. If you have some really demanding video, you need to do 4K 60 all the time, or you need that 16K coverage, might not be the camera for you. There's better options out there. But for a general, everyday camera, for professional work, for professional video work, it ticks all of the boxes for me. Whereas this one, it's a very fun travel and personal camera, is where I feel that this fits in my life. Another thing with this camera is it has IBIS in it as well. So your handheld video is actually usable. It makes your life just a lot easier overall. You can shoot slower shutter speeds. And yeah, I'm excited to get a production unit because we can't do an image quality comparison because this is still a pre-production unit. But at some point on the channel, that will be happening. And we'll photograph some coffees. I'm really, really happy with this camera. Maybe the one thing lacking in terms of the X100V is that you don't have the actual optical rangefinder style viewfinder, which is nice to have in this. That you get to see the world and it throws frame lines around it. Or you can go to an EVF. You get EVF with this, but honestly, the EVF, the screen, so good. Hot sun, no problem. Here, well.
Should we have a battle?
What did you do to this?
I don't know, man. I wound all the dials.
And our Canon R6 is overheating, so
classic.
We're gonna cut it here. Thanks for watching. Any questions you have, put them in the comments below. Tim will be around, I'll be around, and we'll try to help you out if we can. And we'll just be out here in the rain. Also, weather sealing? I don't know if I'd trust that.
This is not weather sealed currently, so I'm gonna go inside.
This is quite weather sealed. We've had Nikon cameras iced over, brought them home, thawed them out, and they've been fine. So weather sealing, I trust it a lot. Tim?
Not so much.
Until next time.
Thanks, guys.
Buy some merch. I don't know.